Welcome to Hardback Life.
It's time for stories, sass, and strong opinions.
Let's turn the page. Hi guys, it's me, Cassie. We just had a really big weekend with the channel and our Instagram. We were at the Bel Air Book Fair, so I will get to that, but we didn't get a chance to record, so I'm doing like a quick solo one so we don't miss a week. But anyway, the book fair was amazing, guys. We met so many awesome authors and readers. We got a lot of content. We're going to put out like an extra episode, I think, instead of a full, with some author interviews, some things we did around the fair, stuff like that. It was so fun. We had so much fun. Shout out to Becca's mom. She comes to all our events. She is the best. I bought more books than Becca, but that's okay. We don't need to tell anybody. But it was really cool. I did get one for my nephew, one for my mom. So like they're not all for me, but nobody needs to know that, right? Yeah, so we didn't have time to like squeeze in an episode. And then honestly, I didn't even really have a ton of time to prep an episode. So Andrew helped me with this one. Again, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me rewind. It was a big weekend. So I hadn't read a ton. What did I just finish? I finished an arc called Wench and I really liked it. It was based off Robin Hood. It was adorable. I kind of wish maybe we got a little more background on Robin, Locks, whatever you want to call him. But I really enjoyed it. I didn't really read this weekend at all. We were not in the Airbnb much because then aside from the actual event, of course we hang out with Dylan and Becca as much as we could because we don't get to see them often enough. So yeah, I didn't read much. I started last night when we got home, another arc, The Mystic and the Missing Girl. It's kind of interesting so far. It's just about this girl whose aunt was a psychic and she used to help with criminal cases. And this one girl went missing in their town. And I guess the aunt had trouble and people thought that she was misleading the police on purpose. And then the aunt passed away and now the girl is there. She's not a girl anymore. She's like a full grown 30-year-old something. She came back. She inherited the store from her aunt. It's like a crystal tarot card kind of store. And she gets visions also. So it's the 20th anniversary, I want to say, of this girl's disappearance. So like, is she going to get involved with trying to help and clear her aunt's name? Is she not? Somebody she used to hate in high school is now really attractive. So I'm pretty sure they're going to end up together, obviously. That's how that always works. But I'm excited. It's interesting. I love crime and I love like tarot and that kind of stuff. So it was right up my alley. I'm really excited about it. I'm just going to keep going on arcs now that I'm there. I have Larry. I'm so excited for this, guys. I have Larry David's first official memoir to read that as an arc. I'm really excited. I don't know if I've ever mentioned on here, like I love Larry David. I think he's so funny. I love him so much. So I'm really excited about that. I have the one I'm reading. And then I have another one that I'm on an ARC team for called Missing Girls and Lost Boys through the Rattle the Stars PR. So I'm going to try to see, this is a big but if I can get them done really, really quick, all of them, and reward myself with Miss and Fury. Because I do want to reread that series before it comes out in October. Can I do it? I don't know. I guess I'll have to keep you posted. So far, I'm only on chapter 4 of the first one, and I have 4 altogether to get to. So we'll see. Wish me luck. That's it. I've been blowing through Frida McFadden. I think I mentioned this last time. I've been blowing through her on audiobooks. Like, I'm loving it. However, her list is massive, so it's going to take me forever anyway. But I think that's it. That's like really all I have reading. That I'm so tired from this weekend. Like, we traveled, but also Saturday was just like a big fun event, high energy. Drove home again yesterday. So yeah, it was a fun weekend, but I'm just tired. I do get to see my nephews tonight, so that's exciting. We're going to dinner with them. But that's like a random, like, wake up, Cassie, because you got to see your nephews. Anyway, so this week on Friday, I'm going to put this out there. We are recording with A.A. Gordon, which means that will be out next week. And we're talking to her about her series. The first book is called Captive of the Wild Hunt. I've talked on here about that book. I did like a whole solo episode on the book, but I also have just talked about it a lot of times because I really want more people to read it. But I'm like fangirling over her coming on. I'm so excited. She had messaged me, I think when I posted my first review, like my review of the first book, and I literally like screeched and I looked over to Andrew and I was like, oh my God, she messaged me, Andrew, and I love these books so much. Like, I was so excited. So I'm really excited to have her on. We're going to do that. So today's Monday. This will be out tomorrow on Tuesday. We're recording with her on Friday, and then that'll be out the following Tuesday. So I'm really excited about it, guys. But I think that's really it. Like, we have some other stuff coming, but in October, again, we are going to like a midnight release with Sweet Nothings in Baltimore for the next ACOTAR book. And I'm also really excited for that. But we'll keep you posted. That's a couple months away. We'll keep you posted on that stuff. Yeah. So today, like I said, it was a big weekend. I didn't have a lot of time to prep or plan anything. So Andrew did help me out with today's episode. I mean, because he's an angel. He helped me out. We really just looked at questions online for like book people, you know, because I didn't know what to do. Actually, that's why I had started working on something, but we have to leave by a certain time to get to dinner. So like I didn't have time to finish what I was working on. Hopefully that'll come out at a later date, but I'm going to keep it to myself for now. So Andrew and I looked up a bunch of like bookish questions and we wrote them down. Now, I don't know how many we each ended up putting in, so we might not get to them all, which is fine. This is going to be like a little bit of a shorter episode. But that way, it's just like fun, a little chaotic, fun. I don't know what's coming, so it'll be interesting for everybody involved today. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, are we ready? It's like a game. The whole episode is a game today. Let's do it. First question. What book is overhyped? I wrote this one because I just wrote overhyped because I was like, I know what that'll mean. What book is overhyped? People might not like this answer, but I'm going to say it. We wrote it. I'm going to say it. Quicksilver. Here's the thing. I've said on here before, I really wanted to like it more. I really did. People like love that book so much, and I wanted to like it so I was like ready for it to be another ACOTAR level book for me. And it just wasn't. And I was disappointed. So I think that one's a little bit overhyped. And I see Kingfisher everywhere. Like, yeah, he's fae and that's great. We love a handsome fae. But it didn't do it for me. It didn't. I have seen lately, though, like this question has come up on Instagram and I've answered with Quicksilver or saying that or commented on people's posts about Quicksilver. And like, I really want to like this more. And a couple people said the audiobook was a game changer. So I wonder if I listen to it. But I already know what happens. I don't know. I'll think about it. Maybe I'll try a reread of listening because it's like I want to love it. I don't go into a book to not love it, right? Like I want to, but I do at this particular moment find that one to be overhyped. I'm so sorry. Next question. Dig down deep. Andrew also shuffled these. So like we made sure they're not all just the ones we wrote up at the end. A character I trust with my passwords. So like my email passwords and like Instagram and stuff. Yeah, my passwords, just period. My passwords. That's hard. Not that I have anything, but like, you know, you can get a lot of personal information. Character I trust with my passwords. Probably Archer from Archer's Voice. Because he just seems like a very trusting person. He keeps a lot of Bree's secrets and stuff, but he also is not like out there getting drunk and spilling, you know, secrets and untrustworthy things like that. So I think I would pick Archer from Archer's Voice. He's up there for me. I do love it. I love him. All right, ready? Your reading red flag. Just one? I feel like I have a lot of those. I feel like if Becca were here, she would say my reading red flag is that I listen to my audiobooks on 2.5. If it's any slower, I get bored. It's too boring. I have to listen to it faster. And though I think that's probably a fair red flag. I could probably just leave it at that. My other red flag is being like, I could do that. Cross the parapet, I could do that. Like, no, you can't, Cassie. You cannot do any of that. So those would be like my two big reading red flags. That I listen on 2.5 and I'll read a situation and be like, easy. I got that. I could do that. Give me 10 minutes and I can do that. You know what I mean? No, you can't, Cassie. No, you freaking can't. Let's try another one. Who would be the best influencer? So like if they came out of the book, a book character that if they were real, who would be the best influencer? I have to say, probably Bryce from Crescent City. You just get those kind of vibes from her, you know? Like, especially when Danica and everybody were around, like, those girls would be influencers, for sure. I don't know what they'd be influencing. Maybe fashion? Well, no. Bryce she loved art, so she would be like an art influencer. Absolutely. Duh. Easy. Art influencer, Bryce. There you go. A book that should never be on screen. So like movie or TV shows. Here's the thing. Really that's hard. Not any fantasy. Because I think Game of Thrones did a really good job. Loved Harry Potter. But these fantasies like ACOTAR specifically, that'll probably be my answer. Where everybody is just godly looking, you know? Like and I thought this about Twilight too, and I stand by this. I don't really think Twilight ever should have been made into movies because you describe them as like beyond perfection. Nobody really lives up to that. I love Robert Pattinson. He is not the Edward Cullen I saw in my brain when I was reading that book. You know what I mean? So I would have to say ACOTAR, even though we all know it's my favorite thing in the world. I just don't think you can take a book that everything is so perfect. Not everything, but everyone, I guess, is so beautiful and so perfect and use real life people, if that makes sense. Like, I just feel like you've created these beyond human people and keep them that way. That's not saying it's an amazing book. It's my favorite book. It's my favorite series, but it's too good to be made into on screen. That's the issue. I think Twilight was ruined by its movies. Might be an unpopular opinion, but I'm going to stick to it. You know, am I starting problems for myself? Am I sharing too many unpopular opinions? I don't know. Who would be on your apocalypse team? Like zombie apocalypse, I guess. I'm going to go with 3. There's no number written. So I'm going to go 3, if I can think of 3. See, that's the thing with, I had Andrew help me so that I didn't know all the questions, and it might take me a minute to think about this one. Who would I have on my apocalypse team? This is a hard one. Can I pick a dragon? Because I would definitely have Terran on my team. I'm going to pick him. Terran. Probably not saying that right, but that's how I say his name, Terran. So that's 1. I'm trying to think of like really handy people or like, well, actually having just read Wench, I would say that I would put Robin on my apocalypse team. Go read it and find out why. So Robin and Terran, Robin, Ren from Silver Elite. Terran, Robin, Ren from Silver Elite. I feel like I don't want to give too much away about Robin, but he's perfect for an apocalypse team. Perfect. Terran, 1, I need him, his humor and his sass. But 2, like, he's a freaking dragon. So I feel like the zombies won't want to mess with him. And then Ren, because she lived in the middle of this like forest that wanted to kill her for so many years, and she went to command school and all of that good stuff. She would be really good to have on apocalypse team. She hunts, she shoots, she does all that stuff. She's like a sharpshooter. So I think that's a solid team if you ask me. And nobody did. Nobody asked me these questions. I asked myself them. So next, there's so many for this one. A character that needs therapy. A lot of them. Pretty much everybody in ACOTAR. All of the marked ones in Fourth Wing. Archer from Archer's Voice. Beast from Beauty and the Beast. I don't know if that counts though. Bryce probably should definitely get some therapy from Crescent City. Let's see. I'm trying to think of some like romance novel ones. Oh, you know, I forget his name. But the lead guy, was it Joshua? I forget. Oh my gosh, no. In First Time Caller, he could use some therapy. That boy, he's gonna be my pick because he's a little real life and he needs some therapy. Dang, I wish I could remember his name. I guess I could look it up. But First Time Caller, it's a J name. 80% sure. 80% sure it's a J name. Next, universe to live in. That's hard. I'd love to live in almost any fantasy universe. Okay. Here's the thing. I would want to live in the Harry Potter universe if I was not a Muggle. If I were a Muggle, that would be horrible. But if I could live in Harry Potter universe and be a witch, that's perfection. That's what I want. They have all the animals. They have magic. Harry Potter. It would be Harry Potter. I want to live at the Burrow, which, by the way, I was talking to my brother-in-law about this. I sent him, one of us sent each other a meme, but how Ron Weasley is always like, we have no money, or the Weasleys are like poor, right? That's kind of part of their charm. And he brings Harry to the Burrow, and it's like this 5-level, 18-room house. And he goes, it's not much. And I'm like, nobody else is living in that kind of house, my friend. That is a beautiful house, and I love it. I love everything about it. Let's see. I don't know, that was just like a fun little... Book Talk made me read it. Book Talk made me read it. I've read books that are popular on Book Talk, but I wouldn't say I read them because of Book Talk, like ACOTAR. I read because of Becca. Fourth Wing. I guess that would be like, aside from the pressure from Becca, like the TikToks about Fourth Wing always seemed really interesting. So maybe that would be it. Nope. You know what it is? Lights Out. Book Talk made me read Lights Out. It wasn't the worst. It was fine. It was good. But yeah, Book Talk made me read Lights Out for sure. I don't know how many more of these I'm gonna do. It's already 20 minutes, and this was gonna be a short one. What character would you want on your trivia team? So if I were going to do trivia, what character would I want? I'd probably want somebody who could read minds, right? So they can hear the answer. So like a Reese, so they could read the hosts. Like I would think that when you ask the question as a host, you're thinking of the answer. So Reese isn't my favorite character, but probably I'll pick him because he can read minds. And that's really it. I can't think of anybody else I'd want on that. Well, here's the thing. I guess there's two ways you could take that. Do you want them on your trivia team because they're fun? Or do you want them on your trivia team to win? And I want to win. I don't care if it's fun. I want to win. So I would go with Reese. Aha, I ripped it. It doesn't look like there was any words on that part, though. A book you just can't read. Like one I refuse to read, I guess. I mean, I guess there's multiple. I will never read it. I hate clowns. I have tried reading The Hunger Games and I don't like them. So maybe that's it. Those would be the two big ones I could think of. It, because of the clowns, and then Hunger Games. And I've tried Hunger Games, so I physically can't. I just can't do it. I keep trying and I keep failing. Let's do two more. One is stuck. Here we go. Book, I think people pretend to like. They lie about it. That one's so funny. A book people pretend to like. I have to say, from reading it, people cannot like Catcher in the Rye. I've heard people say, okay, so that one I'm like, I've heard people say they like Catcher in the Rye, and I want to be like, there's no way. Like, I don't like that book. But also, The Pearl. I've never actually heard anybody say they like The Pearl, but if you say you like The Pearl, you're lying. That book is horrible. I hated it. I hated it so much. Like, I remember reading it and just being so irritated about it, about everything. Those would be the two big ones, The Pearl and Catcher in the Rye. But at the same time, like, I know my mom really likes Catcher in the Rye. So is that fair that people pretend to like that one? I don't know. I just don't like it. Maybe that's what it is. And then The Pearl is trash. I don't like that one. So, but again, I've never met anybody who does. So if you do, I think you're pretending. Sorry. All right, last one. Most toxic book boyfriend. So meaning like the most toxic one I like, I guess. I like how I wrote the question, still don't know. Probably Eris. Wow, how many of these had an ACOTAR answer? That's so embarrassing. Eris. I love him. I don't think my guess he's gonna turn out to be decent, and everything with more he had like his reasons for and things like that. But he's probably not a good one to like as much as I do. Also, like, just by default, Zaid from Haunting Adeline, like, I don't love him, but he is super effed up. So that's also a fair one. All right, I lied. One more. I think it's funny. One more. Character to be your roommate. Character to be my roommate. Character to be my roommate. You know who I kind of like from the Lucy Score Riley Thorne series? Riley Thorne. I think she's funny after she gets over herself. Like, she's in her feelings for a while in the beginning of the book. She's got to get over it a little bit. So it's like Body in the Basement, Body in the Backyard, Corpse in the Closet, Blast from the Past, and I forget the other one. But I think she would be a fun roommate. She lives with all these old people. Like, that's got to be funny. I would move into her place with all the old people. She would be a good one. Who else would be a good roommate? I feel like Eloise from Bridgerton would be a funny roommate to have. She's just lively and she likes to read. So she's going to be like me, where you want your reading, your quiet time, but then you also want to laugh. I think she would be probably a good roommate. I mean, Cassian, but not whatever. We'll leave that one there. But yeah, I think those would be two good choices. Eloise and Riley Thorne from Lucy Score's Riley Thorne series. That's really, if you're like a crime person, but you like a sense of humor with it, that's a good series. I don't think I talk about that one as much, or like, it deserves more from me. It does. All right. So that was really it. Look, there's still some left. I could save them for another time. But yeah, it was just like a quick, I didn't want to miss a week, have some fun. I hope this was fun. I don't know. You'll have to let me know if we should do this again. Nobody ever actually lets me know anything I ask them to let me know on these. But if you feel so inclined, you can tell me if you like this. We'll see, I guess. So like I said, we have coming up the interview with A.A. Gordon. We have be on the lookout for the interviews from the book fair. We have the ACOTAR release in October. We're super excited for that. Bringing more information at a later date. If you enjoy us, you can listen or watch, depending on where you are, older episodes. You can follow us on Instagram or we have our website, and like, share, follow, rate, comment, depending on where you are. Those are super helpful and we would really appreciate it. And if there's anything, I haven't said this yet, Again, nobody actually ever comments or messages us when I do, but let's pretend that it'll happen this time. If there are any books you want to hear about, let me know. I would love to take some like listener requests, I guess, if that makes sense. Yeah. With that, stay cunning, stay brave, and remember you are your own high lady. Bye, guys.